Okay, so this video is going to focus on servicing one of the newer style walking feet. This walking foot fits the Activa and Virtuosa Bernina sewing machines. It's a dual soled foot, and quite often these get bought accidentally as vintage Bernina sewing machine feet. People think these are the feet for the vintage record style machines. They're not. The record style machine walking feet are these. They have the sort of tan Bernina logo on the side. This is a more modern foot. The reason I'm going to make this video, actually, because there is one out there, a very good video by Bernina Jeff. However, this walking foot is seized, so the forwards, it does move, but not very well. So these rollers are all gummed up, and this foot, I don't know what it's going to be like when I open it up. But yeah, it definitely requires some attention. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to undo this single screw on the foot. And what that does is it just opens up sort of the clamp that's holding the sole of the foot in. So now I can remove that, and as you can see, there's quite a bit of gunk in there. I don't know if the previous owners tried to oil it and service it, but yeah, so we're going to screw that back in now, and we need to pop off this plastic cover. Now, depending how long it's been sat on this machine, well, I guess it is machinery, but been sat on this foot, some are easier to get off than others. We've got to snap it past that screw. So it's one of the reasons you don't want to leave your feet in a window ledge. Leave them in a drawer away from sunlight, because the sunlight will degrade the plastic, and it'll make it very difficult to service the foot. So as we can see, it's got a big build-up of oil and gunk in here. So somebody's probably had a go at this in the past and used the wrong oil. So whilst it's in that sort of state, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to reach into my toolbox, grab one of my wipes, and I have a pot here with alcohol in it. So for most cleaning practices, I use alcohol. I'm just going to clean all that horrible gungy oil residue. Comes straight off with the alcohol. I'm just going to clean that off the sides of this foot, off the bottom. Let's give that a good clean, and then we can go inside the white casing. The alcohol should just take away that horrible gungy oil, as you can see. And just to finish off, I'm going to take a Q-tip and just clean the last of the inside of that foot. Lovely. So we've got rid of a lot of that gunge now. That's already looking 100 times better. I'm going to move that to one side. I'm going to use the lid of my my little oil pot just to hold the screws in a second. There's quite a bit of gunge and oil on the upper side of the sole of this walking foot. So this is the open toe foot. and we also have a standard closed toe. So we've got 2 screws we want to undo, and these could be, they're not too stiff. So this first screw that I'm undoing here, it's a big long screw, and that's the screw that holds the back of this walking foot on. So as I turn it over, you can see this comes away, and we can see the mechanism that works the foot up and down. Now, the part that gets jammed is this spindle in this socket, and you can actually see sometimes these can shear off where the needle bar actually forces this up, and it doesn't want to move in its little socket. It can actually break. So it is important that you keep your walking feet maintained, and we're going to launch a online service in order for you to post them to us, very much like we do with the 289 foot control repairs. Now we're going to undo this second screw here. And this is a small screw, so just be careful you don't drop it. It doesn't really matter. You don't want to drop this piece, but concentrate on the screw and not this, because the screw is much harder to find if you do drop it. And we can see the springs that work the backwards and forwards motion of the walking foot. And we've got quite a bit of gunk. I don't know if this is going to automatically focus. Let's have a look. There we go. We've got quite a bit of fluff and lint. We've got these 2 pins. Now these are rollers, and what we want to do is give them a good clean. They don't come off like on the vintage walking feet. These little rollers come off, and you can clean inside them really easily. You can't do it so much with these. So you want to use my number 6 oil with a precision tip to clean your walking feet. You don't want to be, sorry, not to clean, to lubricate your walking feet. You don't want to be using the other oil, the number 10 oil that you would use to lubricate your machine. So I'm going to go a step further on this walking foot than is really necessary, but because it's in quite bad condition, I'm going to take this little C-clip off. And if you did decide to do this at home, you need to be quite careful doing it. The reason I've taken it off is just in here, you can see there's quite a lot of old gunge. So with the C-clip off, that will then allow me to remove very gently this lever that works the up and down motion of the foot. I'm just adding a bit of upward pressure and slowly moving it up towards me. Just get my focus back down a bit further. And I actually have to push it from the back edge a little bit, because this does not want to come out. Move this eccentric screw slightly. It's a very tight clearance between this screw here and the foot, so I'm actually going to remove this screw. Not the foot, I keep calling it the foot, the lever. And hopefully That'll just give me enough. Not quite. Maybe take that screw out. Okay, now you can see all this gunge that is in this walking foot. So that's the main bits that are kind of stopping the foot working. So I'll take a Q-tip and just get a bit more alcohol in my little pot. I'll take that Q-tip and we are going to clean all this gunge off this spindle. There we go. And we're just going to wipe that with our little cloth that we also have dipped in alcohol. So that's that clean. And now we're going to focus on the bit of the foot where that sits. I'm going to clean that off. I'm going to clean. We've got gunge all over here. You can see where the rollers haven't really been rolling very well. They've slightly discoloured the foot here, but it's only cosmetic. So we're going to clean there. I'm actually going to clean in between the feed, like you would on the feed dogs or your sewing machine. Give in between there a quick clean, just to make sure everything's nice and pristine, like so. This motion's pretty good. We don't really have much of an issue there. Just watch out. Just got caught on that little spring and we don't want to pull that off, so that's that. Now I'm just going to again take my little wipe and a tiny little screwdriver, and I'm just going to work it into that hole, just so we know that that's super clean. Pop that back down and just give the outside and the inside of the walking foot sides a nice little clean there. Now the only bit that we haven't really paid any attention to are these rollers. So again, I'm going to take a Q-tip. Use the other side, that's a little bit dirty. I'm just going to clean the rollers, give them a nice little clean there, make sure they're moving. Now we're back to reassembling. It's, like I say, it's quite a straightforward, fast process. The only other thing which I will do is just get that tiny little C-clip, if I can pick it up with these pliers. I'm just going to give that a quick wash in that alcohol, like so, and a wipe. Right, so that's all our parts clean. Now we can reassemble the walking foot. So you take our oil, to put a drop of oil on here, a drop of oil in where that shaft's going to go, a drop of oil here, a drop of oil just along that back edge, just make sure everything's moving nicely. Now when you first come to sew, after servicing the walking foot, you're going to want to use some scrap fabric. You don't want to sew straight away with your best fabric, because you're going to probably end up with some Sorry, the dog's barking in the background. You're probably going to end up with some residue from the oil. So now we've got that. That's moving lovely and freely. We've oiled that. Now we've got to add on our little C-clip, horseshoe clip, C-clip. I always used to call them horseshoe clips till I started ordering them from all over the world, and then seems that C-clip is the preferred term, but to me it looks like a little horseshoe. So we're going to need the pliers just to get this in place. As I don't have the most delicate and nimble of fingers, so we'll get that lined up. I might be able to do it with these pliers. I probably want some long nose. No, that's it. That's the clip back on. So that's our rollers back on. Whilst we're talking about the rollers, just want to put a single drop of oil there, single drop of oil there, and then a drop of oil each side. Just wipe the excess away with your finger. That's going to make its way into the roller. And they're now spinning freely again. Last but not least, we want to oil this shaft, or the bearing for the shaft, and we do need to just have a quick clean up of around here, so I forgot to do so. So we've got no sticky residue, and there's enough oil in there just to pop this straight in without adding additional oil. So as you put that in, just make sure you bring your roller down, and then that's your up and down motion of the foot sorted. We can then add in the silver screw. Now, like I said, you don't need to take that out to do this job, but because this mechanism with the roller was so stiff, I could feel it was stiff. That's why I took the horseshoe clip out, removed that, and just gave that a once over. Next, we want to add the sides to our walking foot. Now these are quite hard to get wrong. They only go one way, but what you do need to bear in mind is what tells you what side they go is that they're countersunk. So when you look at this, sorry, I'll just put that down, you can see that these holes, the square on this side, countersunk on that side. So that's the way, that's telling you the way that they need to go on. So I'm going to take this one. Sorry, need to make sure I keep this in shot for you, I know. And so we're going to take this one. I think that's the wrong way around, actually. Yes, it is. Look, I'm not looking at the countersunk hole. Do as I say, not as I do. So, firstly, we're going to put the tiny little screw in. Now, this little Bernina screwdriver is just magnetised enough to pick up a tiny screw like this. I'm kind of trying to do this and keep everything in shot, so it's not the most comfortable position. In fact, to make it easier, to put the long screw in the back, so that's going to help us keep that in line. Oops, right. So, put our screw again. There we go. So that's screwed in. Our back screw's not doing anything at the moment because that's what holds this plate in place. So we pop that over the metal, the shiny steel screw, and I'm just going to rotate it back round. There we go. So that's our foot pretty much put back together other than the sole. So we've got up and down motion, and we've got forward and backwards motion. So that's all really nice. Now, before we finish up, we've just got this little pivot point here, which I'm going to drop the tiniest bit of oil there. Just work that backwards and forwards. Sorry if that was out of shot. I've just let me grab a screwdriver. I've just put a spot of oil here. Okay, so that's our walking foot cleaned. Now we slide back on the plastic casing, and have to lift that back over just so we can get over that silver screw and snap it into place. Finally, we've got the foot sole, and we can just pop that, clip one side, the second side, and there we have a serviced walking foot. Now, I hope you're starting to enjoy these videos. I'm doing more and more sort of educational ones, but it really helps people, like-minded people, and my channel. If you do drop a like, add a comment or something, and even subscribe to the channel, that would be great.